champagne line, everything's okay. We are live. Oh yeah. Listen, my voice. Yeah, my voice is almost out. I be so fired up when I speak. So. Oh yeah. First off, I need to turn the sound down. I'm just trying to share, guys. Let me share this to some groups. Hello, hello. I'm just gonna give it a minute for some people to join me tonight for this Let's Talk Fridays discussion. And if you haven't got your wine, listen, if you first off, if this is your first time watching my Let's Talk Fridays podcast, we always have a little wine as we sip and we talk, because like I say, this is a discussion. I am teaching and I'm talking, but this is also discussion. So we drinking a little wine, we cheersing, we discussing some real topics that need to be discussed. So I'm going to share this podcast to a few groups while I am waiting for some people to get in here. How is everyone's Friday going on tonight? How are you guys doing so far? I'm doing well. I actually just got done doing a Table of Greatness speaking engagement for our VIP guests. So my voice is kind of, I probably should have some tea. Matter of fact, I should tell my son to give me some tea, because my voice, I could feel it as I'm talking. I could feel my voice starting to hurt a little bit. I didn't even talk for that long, but when I talk, I speak with so much passion, you know. So thank you guys all for watching tonight. Like I said, I'm just sharing this to a couple groups and waiting for a few people to get in here before we get this discussion started, because this is needed. Do you guys see what we are going to be talking about tonight? We are going to be talking about, if you have not seen what I talked about on, was it Wednesday? I talked about it when I was saying, do you have your together? And if you don't have your together, then you might want to listen to this before you start getting into a relationship. You got to have your stuff together. So that's what we're going to be discussing tonight. The 6 things that you need to have together before you start saying, I want a man. I need a man. I'm tired of being alone. We need to discuss some things first, sis. Before you start talking about how you want a man, we need to discuss some things that you need to have in order before you get to that point. All right. Okay. And we are going. JR, hold on just a second. JR, will you give me some tea, please? Yes, can you please give me some tea? Some green tea, because my throat's starting to hurt a little bit. You know what I don't like about Facebook, guys? The fact that we can't play music. Last time I tried to play music to like give you guys something to listen to while I was waiting for people to get into the room, they shut me all the way down. I didn't even know. So I was sitting there talking to myself. I did the whole podcast, like 45 minutes. I was talking and I was like, why ain't nobody responding? No one was watching. And I was like, finally, when I went back into it after I closed it out, after I ended it and I went back into it, and I was like, well, that's why no one was talking. Like, why we wasn't having a conversation was because Facebook done shut me down because I was playing music. So now I can't play music no more, but I much prefer to be playing a little tunes while we are waiting for a few people to get in the room. So can you put it in the and make sure it's hot for me, please? Just give me a mug, warm up some water, any tea that's up there, I don't care, and give me some honey too, please. All right, guys, so welcome. What'd she say? Oh, that's what I gotta do, Kiki? Okay, well then I'm gonna that, because if that's all I gotta do, then that's what I'm gonna start doing. So I can be playing music and getting in the jam, getting y'all ready for this Friday night, this unwinding moment. Like I said, have your wine. Do you guys have your wine? because we are unwinding, we are discussing what's been going on, we are just having a conversation. And like I said, the conversation tonight is before you have your happily ever after, do you have your stuff together? And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So those of you who do not know me, my name is Amber Nicole Speaks. I am a confidence and trauma coach. Pretty much what I do is I teach women, guide women how to regain confidence in themselves, how to heal their unhealed trauma, and how to maneuver through life, because so many times we get stuck. So many times we don't know how to move. So many times our mindset, our poverty mindset, our negative mindset that we're not aware of gets in the way of us being able to move forward. So that's why you hire me. I come in, I talk to you guys, I help you get out of your own way so that you can be your best self, walk in purpose, and become the best you, so that you can have everything that you want to have and be exactly the woman that you were called to be, but you don't know because you are stuck in your ways. So that's pretty much what I do. So tonight I'm going to give you 6 things that you guys need to have together first before you get to your happily ever after. So this conversation is for all those women who say they want to be with a man. It's for someone who are with men and the man might not be the best for you. I'm going to be talking about the 6 things that we as women, I guess this probably can go for men too as well, but the 6 things that we need to have together first before we start saying that I want to be with someone, I want somebody laying next to me, I want my happily ever after, where's my soulmate at? We need to have some things in line before we get to getting the soulmate. And the reason why I know that these things need to be in order is because I did it. It's because I will say that I didn't know I had these 6 things, and I found what these 6 things were after Pastor Mike Todd, and he was talking about these are the 6 things that you need to have in order. I didn't realize at that time that that's when Chris walked into my life, is when I had those 6 things done. But I know now, oh yeah, he's right, because I did do those 6 things first before I got the love of my life now. So type where you guys are from. Put in the chat where are you from, where you watching from right now. I'm in Florida. What city are you in? What state are you in? If you're new to the group, if you're new to watching my podcast, type I'm new here. Where you guys coming from? I want to see who's watching and where are you watching from? What state you in? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about where you're from. Welcome to all the new people who have not seen me, who don't know me. I appreciate you. I'm glad that you're here and you about to get this fire, because one thing you know about me, that I am definitely authentic in how I speak. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I'm giving it to you straight, just like I want my friends to give it to me. Just how I talk to any of my friends, I'm talking to you in the same way. So I want you guys to know that I might say some stuff that might put some fire under your head. I might say some stuff that might not sit right with you, but just know that I am always speaking out of love when I'm talking to you. I'm always speaking from a space of I used to be there, so I know how it feels, and I needed someone to jolt me. I wish I had somebody, I should say, to jolt me. I didn't have that, but now I am here to be able to help you guys get out of that space. All right, so thank you guys for watching. Where you from? Type it in the chat where you guys are watching from. I would like to know. All right. Okay. Without further ado, we're going to get into it. So tonight, like I said, we're talking about the 6 things that you need to have together first before you find your happily ever after. So do you want a man? Do you want a man that pours into you? Do you want a man with integrity? Do you want someone who you have true partnership with? Someone that you say, wow, like I really love him, and not just, oh, I just love him. Hey, Davenport. But not just I love him, but that he really cares for me. He really pours into me. We are true partners. Like we help each other. And do you want that? Do you have that? And if you don't have that, here is why. Number one, what I found in my relationships before is that I didn't have that because of my lack of confidence. But that's not the number one thing. But you lack confidence and you lack thinking that you are capable of getting exactly where you want, which is why you are not getting that. Oh, another Davenport. Hey, Jenny. Okay, so let's go with it. So let me get with number 1. So to start, the number one thing that you need to have, and this is serious, the number one thing that you need to have before you start saying, I want a man and I want to be in a relationship, is you have to be in the presence of God. And I know some of you might not thought that was going to be the first thing that I said, but it's the truth. You have to be in the presence of God. You have to have a relationship with God, because God wants the best for us, which means the best for us, that the person he's going to choose for us is going to be the best for us. But we don't know that if we're not in his presence. We don't know that if we're not in relationship with him. We don't know that the men that we pick for ourselves, because I want him. I'm going to tell you what my type was. My type was, I wanted light skin. I wanted him to be slender. I wanted him to, be mostly light skin. Sorry, dark brothers. I'm just saying that was my preference. I wanted the light skin, and this is what I want. This is what I want, And if he ain't light skin, I'm not paying no attention to him. Until I got myself in order and got into the presence of God and did all these other 6 things, my man now is not light skinned. Oh, I wanted him to be at least 6'2". My man now he ain't light skinned. He chocolate, real chocolate actually, and he is the same height as me, and I'm 5'5". He swear he 5'7" or 5'8". He ain't. If he watching, he not, y'all. Anyways, so, but this is what I wanted for myself, and so when I was operating out of my own space and what I wanted and not what God wanted for me, I got hurt. I got cheated on. Now, while I found these men attractive, attraction didn't mean that they was treating me right. Attraction didn't mean that they was respectful of me, of my feelings, that they could take care of me, take care of my heart. So I realized that I was operating out of what I wanted for myself and not what God wanted for me. So the number one thing is, before you say, I want a man, are you in the presence of God? Ask yourself that. Do I have a relationship with him? Because if you don't have a relationship with him, you aren't even at the beginning, because you're picking out of your own ways and out of your own thinking and what you think you're capable of having, and not what God called you to have. And what I will say is, God does want us to be in relationship. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, 2 people are better than one. So God does want us to be with someone, because 2 people are better than one. But you need to make sure that you have the 6 things that we're going to talk about. But number 1, be in the presence of God before you get that. Before your person comes along, before your soulmate comes along, if God is not that foundation, it's not going to last. It's going to fall apart. It's going to crumble, because you two are going to be trying to figure it out instead of turning to God and saying, what should we do? So that's the number 1 thing. The number 2 thing is, you have to be in the right place. And let me just tell you guys what I mean by that is being in the right place. Some of you guys are sitting in places, sitting in states that you should move out of, that you're not even happy in. Some of you guys are sitting in environments that is not serving you, but it's comfortable for you, and you've been there for a long time, so you don't know any better. Some of you guys are in spaces with friends. And when I mean environment, I mean friends. I mean where you live at. I mean the state that you're in, the relationship that you're in, environments and places that you should not be at, but you're sitting there because it's comfortable for you. Well, before the man that you want comes into your life, you need to be in the place that you are supposed to be in. So I lived in Minnesota I'm from the Quad Cities, Rock Island, Illinois, but I lived in Minnesota for 7 years. Yeah, 7 years. And during that whole entire time that I was there, I was in 2 relationships. Both relationships did not serve me. Both relationships, I was hurt. Both relationships, I dealt with not being treated the way I should have been treated. But it's because I was in a place that I shouldn't have been in. I moved to the place because of one of my relationships. It wasn't my place. That I didn't choose to live in Minnesota. I moved to Minnesota because it's what he wanted. And I just went with it because this is who I was in a relationship with at the time. I actually always wanted to be in Florida. I knew I wanted to be in Florida. But the relationship I was in, that was not the place for us collectively. Let me see what Kiki said. I have this overwhelming feeling like God's telling me to move to Jacksonville, but I'm scared. Yes. So let me talk. So when I was in Minnesota, God called me to move to Florida. So just like you getting called to move to Jacksonville, He called me to move to Orlando. Did I know anybody in Orlando? I knew one person. A guy, like, seriously, me to be here. But I was scared to move because, number one, when we sat and I prayed and I meditated, when I made the decision to move, it was 30 days before my lease was up. Talk about risk taking, right? 30 days. You mean to tell me in 30 days you decided, you know what? I need to move to Florida. I knew I wanted to move somewhere, but 30 days was Florida. And I was scared and I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I was a single mother and I didn't have that much money saved at all. But I knew that if God was calling me to this place, this must be somewhere that I'm supposed to be. So like I said, number 2, are you in the right place? Because if I still lived in Minnesota, I would have never met Chris. He ain't coming to Minnesota. He first off, he's from New York, but he in Florida. And he ain't never traveled to Minnesota ever. So you have to be in the right place. So like I said, number 1, you got to be in the presence of God. Number 2, you got to be in the right place. And those places is where God's calling you to be. Sometimes it may be the place that you're in right now. You might really want to leave, but there's some things that you still need to do. Maybe. But you find that out when you are in the presence of God. He talks to you. He speaks to you. Did you guys see my video the other day? Oh, am I cutting out for anybody else? Jenny said I'm cutting out for her. I'll keep going. You guys just let me know if I'm cutting out for you. So anyways, if you guys see my video the other day when I talked about, do you know when God is talking to you? Do you know when he's speaking to you? Do you know when it's God's voice versus your own voice? Well, I'll tell you how I know it's when it's God versus your own voice. A little? Okay, thank you. It's God's voice when he's calling you to do something that you know you could not have came up with yourself. And a lot of times it's something that's going to make you uncomfortable. You're not going to want to do it. You're going to be fearful. It may be a big risk that you're going to take, but let me tell you, if God called you to it, he's going to bring you through it. So that's how you know when it's God's voice. So are you in an environment, in a place that you don't want to be in? And if you are, then you need to move out of that space first before you meet the man that's you're called to be with. Before you meet your soulmate, you need to be in a place that God called you to be in. Number 3, you got to have provision. So provision just means you got to have faith. You got to have faith that you will find exactly what he called you on. You got to have faith that you will have the business that you want to have. You got to have faith that you will be provided for. You got to have faith. Because without faith, you can't get nowhere anyways, because you're looking at you walking by sight and not by faith. You got to walk by faith and not by sight. So do you have provision? Do you know that you know that you know no matter what, you're going to make it? No matter what, when I moved from Minnesota to Florida, I knew I'm going to make it because I'm taking the risk on me. Yes, I'm fearful, but I know God will provide for me. So do you know that God will provide for you? Do you have provision? If you don't have provision, then you're going to stop anyways. You ain't going to build that business. You're not going to work the job or get the career that you think you can have. It's just not going to happen. So do you have provision? Number 4. This one we gonna sit on this one for a little bit. Number 4, because this one's very important as well. Do you have the right personality? Listen, for real. Let me tell you how serious this one is, because before, when I lacked in confidence, I didn't feel like I was worthy. I didn't feel like I was pretty. When I just had this whole lack poverty mindset where I just didn't think I was good enough at all, I would not have been good to Chris in that state of mind. Had I not worked on me and got myself together and became the confident boss chick that I am today, where I got into the presence of God, I have provision. I worked on me. I learned how to love myself. I gained the confidence that I have. I started my business. I did all of that before Chris even came along. If I was still the woman I was before I started working on my personality, before I started working on my character, before I started working on my mindset and what I think about me. Let me see. I just getting back on. Did you get to 3 yet? 3 was provision, Jenny. Do you have provision? Do you know without a shadow of a doubt that God is going to provide for you no matter what? Do you have crazy faith? That's number 3. And then number 4 is, do you have the personality that you need to have for your soulmate to come along? So like I was saying, I had to work on myself. I had to gain the confidence that I am in me. I had to love me first. You have to be okay with being by yourself. I took time out a whole year. I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to take a year from being in relationships. I'm going to take a year from doing anything that involves a man. I'm going to focus on me and only me. Because if I'm so busy focused on these relationships that I didn't take the time to really pour into myself. So I was basically pouring out of an empty cup. I said I loved them, but how can I love somebody more than I love my own self? It made absolutely no sense. And honestly, you really can't love anyone more than you love yourself. You think you are loving that person more than you love yourself, but you are not. Another thing I had to realize is that I talked about tonight with the table of greatness is that confidence is not a feeling that we have. I didn't feel confident. Confidence, I became confident. It was a skill that I possess. I have to talk to myself every day positively. Amber, I love you. Amber, you're beautiful. Amber, you're smart. You're intelligent. You're a queen. You're worthy of greatness. You can have anything you want in this world. You're a warrior. You're a beast. I have to tell myself these things all the time. That's how you get confident. You are creating that skill in your mind. That's how you create the personality that you want to have, that you're supposed to have. Your authentic self, not the hurt space, not the space of trauma, unhealed trauma, not the lack poverty mindset, none of that. Who I am today and who I was 5 years ago would not work for Chris. 5 years ago, we wouldn't have met. And if we did meet, I would be bad for him because he would probably try to save me like a lot of men do. And I would not really been able to really fully walk in who I truly am. I had to have my personality together. So ask yourself, do you have your stuff together, your personality, the person you're called to be? Are you walking in purpose? Do you have those things in line? Because if you don't, you're not ready for a soulmate, because you have to be ready to, when that person comes into your life, whatever baggage they have, whatever situation that they're dealing with, because we're all dealing with something, you got to be ready to accept that. You got to be ready to speak to that. When Chris walked into my life, there was things that he was dealing with that I would never been able to handle had I not become who I am today. But now I could speak life into him. Now I can show him by example what real confidence looked like. And I didn't have that before. So if you have not got your personality in line, you need some things. There's some things you need to work on. I'm trying to fix myself right now. Exactly. And that's great that you're trying to fix yourself right now, because the number one thing, the way to start it is being self-aware. Am I aware that I got some toxic traits? Am I aware that I'm in this relationship and he might yell at me a little bit? He might toss me up a little bit, but this is what all my friends are dealing with. You have to be aware of your environment. A lot of times for us, what people do is we think that certain things are okay because everybody else in our environment is doing it. So this goes with thieves, drug dealers, people just doing stuff that is not okay, but we think it's okay because everybody around them is doing it. This is how I grew up. This is what I know. It's not okay though, but we think it is. So what environment are you in? Where are you at? Are you in the place that you're supposed to be? All right, let's get to number 5. Number 5 is, do you know your purpose? What's your purpose? Because before God formed you, he knew who you was going to be. So what is the reason why God birthed you? And a lot of people say, well, I don't know if I'm walking in purpose or not. Because let me just tell you, God did not birth you to work a job in somebody else's dream and pay bills. That's limited mindset. And I'm not saying you can't work a job and work in your purpose, because you can do both, because some people do really like their jobs, and that's fine. I'm not saying everybody's meant to be a business owner and that's it, or just full entrepreneur. That's not true. I know that some of you guys really love your job. Some of you guys, nurses and working in the medical field and that type of thing, and you really love it. But what I'm telling you is that that's not all God has for you. Are you walking in your purpose? Am I doing exactly what God called me to do? Yes, Kiki, heal. You have to heal. Healing is important. Before you find a soulmate, if you're not healed, that's pointless. Then you're going to be blaming him for every single thing that you ever been through with everybody else. Well, he cheated on me and he was a traveling cheater. And since you travel for work too, then you're going to cheat too because he did it. And everybody in that position, every man in that position doing some of the same things that the man that cheated on you is going to be, you're going to be blaming him for the same thing. So yes, you most definitely have to heal. Otherwise, you're going to blame the new man for everything everybody else ever done. And that's what you don't want to do, especially if it's somebody that's really for you. Because what I will say is that God brings people into your life that's you're meant to be with, but he doesn't force you to stay in relationship with them. And if you don't have your stuff together, your soulmate will pass you right by because you didn't have these 6 things in order before he came into your life. So purpose. My purpose is to inspire women. My purpose is to be a coach. My purpose is to impact as many women as I can to heal. My purpose is to make sure that I am leaving a legacy behind for my children. My purpose is who am I? Who's my tribe? My tribe is women that's been molested, raped, abused, teen moms. My tribe is my experiences that I had to overcome. So what things have you not overcame yet? What things are you still dealing with you that you don't even know that it's unhealed within you? But part of your lack of confidence comes from your unhealed trauma, being neglected when you were from your parents, or not having the best parents. All right, let me read some of these. Let me read these comments. She says, my ex was insecure about Facebook because that's how he found out his ex was cheating. That insecurity on top of my insecurity was a huge toxic situation, all bad mental abuse. Exactly. So what you're basically saying is 2 unhealed people that came together and tried to form love, but it just turned into toxic, dysfunctional relationship. And that's what happens, that we get in so many toxic, dysfunctional relationships. And then we don't believe that we are able to find a man who has integrity, a man who's kind. And I'm not talking about soft, but I mean kind. A man who loves from his heart. A man who provides for you. And I'm not talking about provide money. I'm talking about provide for you financially, but also provides in making sure that he helps support you. Is he supporting your dreams? Are you guys a true partnership? Are you guys sitting down at a table and saying, this is what we got for going for our lives? How are we going to move forward? Are you just in a relationship with the man, y'all waking up, having sex and not doing much at all? These 6 things that I'm discussing is going to help you find the man that really is for you, that God said this man is for you and he's going to treat you right. And you ain't going to have to worry about him cheating on you. And you ain't going to have to worry about trying to change him. And you're not going to have to worry about trying to make him treat you the best he can, because he's going to already know. He knows how to treat you. The man God has for you, he knows how to treat you. But let me tell you on the flip side of that, what you have to make sure. You also have to make sure that he's a man of God. You can't be in God's presence and then he not be in God's presence. How's that going to work? You always turning to God and he ain't paying no attention. Me and Chris pray together. We pray over each other. We pray for each other. And we pray together. That's a different type of intimacy that a lot of people don't have with their significant others. But that's because God called us to be together. So we help each other in the spaces that we need help in. But had I not had these 6 things in line, these would not have happened. I'm so serious when I speak to you guys, when I talk to you guys. I'm so passionate about what I do because I know how it feels to come from a broken space. I know how it feels to not feel worthy. I know how it feels to not have confidence. I know how it feels to be in a relationship with a man who puts his hands on me. Maybe he wasn't punching me in my face, but he was still like holding me up, choking me up sometimes, hand over my mouth so I wouldn't scream. And to me, it was like, oh, that's minor. I know how it feels to be a teen mother, to be a single mother, to struggle, to try to figure it out. So I'm so passionate about how I speak now and helping you guys because I know I've been in your place before. I've been there. And if I got out of it, you can get out of it too. I lived in the hood. I lived in low income housing. I had food stamps. I had dealt with all of this. But if I can get out of it, you can too. All right. What number was on? So yes, number 5 was walking in purpose. Number 6 is, do you have boundaries? This one's really big as well. All 6 of them are important, but do you have boundaries? Do you have certain things that you just will not accept? Do you have parameters around you that says, you know what? This is my space right here. Toxic people can't come in. Anybody that's not for me I won't be dealing with. This includes friends, family, relationships, intimate relationships, all of that. If the people in your life are not helping you succeed, and it's really hard when it comes to family, and I understand that because you were born to that family. And I'm not saying you got to treat them bad no, love your family. Of course, please love your family. I'm just saying that a lot of times your family keeps you when you're in that limited mindset because no one in my family is a millionaire. No one in my family is talking about stocks and bonds. No one in my family is talking about creating a legacy. No one in my family have they sat and talked about praying. You need to pray with your spouse and pray over him. I pray over Chris even when he's sleeping. He don't know that. Maybe he do now, but I do. You have to create the life that you want. It's my life. It's your life, which means I can hire, fire, and demote whoever I want to. And that includes family. Yes, I still love you. Yes, I'm still showing up for Thanksgiving and Christmas because I still love you. But I'm not going to listen to the negative stuff that you feed to me. And if that's what you keep feeding me, I'm not going to be talking to you every day. You're not going to be part of my daily circle because that's not what I need to hear for me to grow, for me to be my best. If you don't want to move and you don't want to be better, that's fine. But I do, which means I need to get around people that's helping me succeed. Women that are confident, women that do want to be millionaires, women that we ain't sitting gossiping about what somebody else ain't doing and whose baby daddy doing what. That's not the conversation we having. We having conversations about what we trying to do in the next 5 years. Maybe we should build a business together. What can you bring to the table? Maybe you and 2 of your friends or whatever, y'all can get together and build a business together. And y'all can all go in a little bit. Take your tax money. Let's go in on this business. Do you have those type of friends? Or do you got friends where y'all gossiping and you getting TVs every year with your money and y'all getting clothes and you getting the same stuff every year and you're not investing your money the proper way? So you broke all year long and it's just a cycle. Boundaries. You have to have boundaries with the people that's in your life. If you're not doing that, it's going to be very hard for you to move up and level up. And it's going to be very hard for you to find the soulmate that you want. This is about soulmate, but this is also about making sure you got yourself together first. Yes, you want a soulmate, but I'm here to make sure you got your shit together before you start worried about being with a man. What she say? This is so powerful. Your story is my story. I want to have better my life for me and my children. Beautiful story. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, because we've been through so much. We all go through so much. The problem with people is that we go through a lot of stuff and we let it affect us negatively, and let, instead of saying, you know what, this is a lesson I learned. That toxic relationship, I learned a lesson. You know what I need to learn? That I need to love myself more and set some standards in my life. So the next man that comes into my life, he better not dare talk to me like that. He better not dare disrespect me like that. I will not deal with someone that cheats on me and think it's okay. And that's just how men are. Duh. Let me newsflash, all men don't cheat. Let me just say that. But the problem is we believe it and we tell ourselves that men cheat. That's just what they do. No, sis, that is not just what they do. That's what the men that you choose do. That's the men that your friends choose do. That's the men you keep picking and surrounding yourself around. But there are men out here, and there's a lot of good men that have integrity. Integrity is that they treat you good even behind your back. He ain't just treating you good and doing what needs to be done when you're with him. He's doing that same when a woman come up and talk to him. He makes sure he respects you in that moment. That's a man with integrity. They treat you right. They pour into you. They support you. Chris supports me. The stuff that he does, if he has someone, if he finds like opportunities that he's dealing with, he finds some way that he can get me into. He's always talking about me and my business as well. He knows a lot more people in Florida than I do, of course. But while he's building his business, he's also making sure he mentions me. Yeah, I want to let you know my girl does life coaching. I want to let you know she wrote a book too. Hey, these t-shirts here, she made this shirt for me. I made a shirt for him. Black Men Are Essential that I sell on my website on the back. And he puts that on his website and he says, you know, you want this shirt here. He supports me and I don't have to tell him to do it. It's his character. He already has that in him. I didn't have to teach him to do it. He already knew. So what is it? What is it that you're settling for? If you're in a relationship that you're settling for, I'm sorry to say, but stop. If you want better, you can't be in that relationship. And if you're okay with it, then you can't complain about what he's doing. I want you guys to know that you deserve the best, that you are capable of having exactly what you want. You want to be a boss chick? You can be her. The problem is we focus so much on having looking like we're confident and not feeling confident. Well, it's not really a feeling, but I mean, I feel good, but I'm saying it's a skill that I've obtained, but I feel good. I don't want to just look like I got money. I don't want to just look like I'm confident. I want to feel it. Because then when you have confidence within you, you see life from a new lens. You see bullshit before it even comes to you. You don't settle for nothing. When I tell you I don't settle for nothing, listen, ask Chris. Ask him at the beginning when there were certain things where I was just like, nope, I'm not dealing with that. And if that's something you want to do, be my guest. Amber won't be a part of it. And I'm okay with walking away. You got to be okay with leaving out of situations if they don't serve you. Like I said, you know, not too long ago, you'll know that this man is for you because he's helping you succeed. So is the person you're with, are they helping you succeed? Or are they helping you be more of what you don't want? My past relationships made me angry. All I wanted to do was fight. All I wanted to go through his phone. Is he cheating? Is he doing this? Who wants to deal with that? So let's get your stuff in order first. These 6 things in order first. I did do all 6. Yeah. These 6 things in order first before you start saying, I'm ready for a man. No, you're not. You're not. Because number 1, you got to be in the presence of God. And if you're not in the presence of God, you ain't ready. Number 2, you got to be in the right place. Are you in the place that God called you to be in? God called me to be in Florida. I've met so many people since I've came here. I'm in the relationship with the man that I've never thought I would be able to be in. He's amazing. Perfect? Nope. Am I perfect? Nope. Do we have problems? Of course. But when you find the person that you're supposed to be with, you learn to work together on the hard stuff. Man, it's difficult navigating this. And when I mean hard, I don't mean getting cheated on and disrespected. I mean hard, like, okay, we're going through this financial hardship. How are we going to figure it out? Okay, we want to buy a house. What do we need to do? It's difficult right now. I'm that hard like that. Oh, our personalities are starting to clash. Our ways are starting to clash. Our parenting is starting to clash because we think different. How do we navigate that? That's what I mean hard. I don't mean hard being disrespected and cheated on. That ain't hard. That's just not tolerable. Something you should have to deal with at all. So that was the place. Number 3 is provision. Do you have provision? Do you know without a shadow of a doubt? Do you have blind faith? Do you know that if you believe in God and you say that, God, I want this, I need this, you trust and believe that He is going to provide for you exactly what you want? And that's if He wants it for you. Because that's another thing that I pray. My prayer is that, God, I want exactly what you want for me. What do you want for me? Not what does Amber want for herself? Because what God wants for me far exceeds what I want for myself. And I'm aware of that. As big as my mind is, it is still limited to what God wants me to have. So when I say, God, what do you want from me? I have provision, knowing that God is going to provide exactly what I need to have and more. That's what abundance is. Overflow, love, health, wealth, peace, joy, purpose, overflow. So much I can't even obtain it. So number 3 is provision. Number 4 is, do you have the right personality? Are you the person that you need to be before your soulmate comes along? If you ain't her, then you ain't ready. If you don't have your stuff together, then you ain't ready. If you don't have the confidence in yourself, then you ain't ready. Because here's the thing. When you lack confidence, you lower your standards. When you lower your standards, you end up in toxic, dysfunctional relationships because you picked the wrong person. So having your personality and who you are all together, the toxic mindsets that you have, when you have all that together, then you can pick from a better space. You can pick from a space of more of, this is what I want. This is what I need. You know what you need. You sit down with yourself and say, you know what? I need a man who's this, this, and this. And I'm not talking about preference. He needs to be fine and all this. He needs to have this much money. He needs to be light skin, dark skin. I'm not talking about preference. I'm talking about need. What's your love language? What do you need? I need someone that pays attention to me. I need someone that sits and communicates with me properly. I need someone that takes his time with me. I need someone that supports me. What do you need? If you don't have your personality together, you don't even know what you need yet. So you need to work on you. What did Amari say? Are you in the right place? That's so good. Location matters geographically and personally. Yes. And then number 5 is purpose. Are you walking in your purpose? Do you do exactly what God called you to do? What is that? Do you not know what your purpose is? Well, let's talk about that. You can book a session with me. Go to my website, www.ambernicolespeaks.com. Book a session with me. We'll talk about what your purpose is. We'll talk about what you need to do to navigate what unhealed things you have to work on. Because if you don't know your purpose, it's hard to navigate in life, and you just working a job fulfilling somebody else's dream. That hospital you work in or whatever the case may be, you're fulfilling somebody else's dream, but you have dreams of your own. We all do. Are you working on your dreams? And then number 6 is, do you have parameters? Do you have boundaries? Have you created the boundaries? Learn to let go of the toxic people that don't need to be in your life. Let go of those toxic relationships, those toxic friendships. Some of those family members, I'm not saying let them go, but you can't talk to them every day. Love them from afar. You have to learn how to let go, because when God is calling you for greater, you can't be pulling things from your past, trying to bring them into your future, because you're going to keep fighting. You have to be able to let go and move on. And people going to talk about you. Oh, she thinks she's better than us. No, I don't. I don't think I'm better than you. I just know that I want greater for my life, and that you obviously don't, and that's fine. But what I want and what you want don't align, which means our friendship just isn't going to work. Let them talk. You obviously doing something right if they're talking about you. So do you have boundaries? Are you stopping being around people who isn't bringing you nothing? I appreciate all you guys. All right. So I appreciate all you guys watching tonight. Is there anybody on here before I hop off, do you guys have any questions that you want to ask me before I get off? Is there anything that you guys would like to say? Any last comments that you want to say before I hop off? I thank all of you guys for watching. I just want you guys to know that it is so important that you have your own life in order before you try to enter somebody else's life, because that person is going to need things from you that you cannot provide if you had not taken care of yourself first. There was things that Chris needed that I provided for him since we've been together, that I would not have been able to provide for him have I not got my own life in order, got in the presence of God, got the confidence that I have, and became who I am today. So get your stuff in order before you start looking for a soulmate. And once you got your stuff in order, your soulmate gonna knock you. Knock. When I got my stuff in order, I wasn't even thinking about Chris. I wasn't thinking about no man. I was thinking about me. And then Chris was like, hey, girl. When I was not paying any attention. But what I'm saying is that I was operating out of my purpose, not focused on getting a man. I was focused on getting myself in order. And then Chris came along, and then now we're amazing. But you can't find that until you get your stuff in order, until you gain the confidence that you need to have, until you start being in the presence of God and aligning with who he called you to be. Hey, baby. Chris is on here by now. What did Amari say? Does our purpose shift and change with time, or is it concrete? So I would say that it would shift, but it would still be like in the same realm. So like right now, what I do is like, I'm a coach, right? So I teach coaching. I feel like my purpose is called to inspire and I do coaching, but it may shift to where I don't do no one-on-one coaching anymore. I'm just being a speaker now. I'm doing group classes or just retreats. I'm not doing certain things. So that's the shift aspect of it. But far as, are you going to be doing something totally different from, I don't think it really shifts. Because your purpose is what's something that you would do for free. So it's part of like, I really love this. No, Chris, I didn't come home to you first. Anyways, so it's, do I really love this, and can I do this for free? What skills do I currently have? And then what is something that I can teach people? How can I serve others? Your purpose is serving others. What I do right now is bigger than me. It's this me helping, me talking to you guys. This is bigger than me. This ain't got nothing to do with me and everything to do with how can I serve you? How can I help you? How can I help you grow, level up, and be your best self? And then you teach somebody else. Each one teach one, and we all teaching each other. And then we end up operating out a world of healed versus hurt. Yeah, okay. I was like, hey, boy. No, I was like, he cute. Like, he cute. And I'm not used to dark skins, but he cute. Is there any other questions, guys? Any questions or comments that anybody else has before I hop off? Ask now while it's free. And like I said, another thing before, any of you guys that want to book a complimentary consultation is free. 20 minutes, we talk, and then from there we decide on if we're going to go further or not. Godiva. Okay. How do you manage and be effective in multiple purposes? So my purpose that I have is I do multiple things though. So like, I'm a coach, but I also have a t-shirt line. Also, I'm a speaker. I'm also an author. So I feel like you have an umbrella of what you do, and then you have certain things that trickle underneath that. So when they say multiple streams of income, I don't believe you're doing 7 totally different things, because like my t-shirt line is women empowerment, like quotes and stuff, or people stuff that builds people up. It aligns with who I am in confidence, right? Or like my speaking engagements, I'm talking about some of the same stuff I'm talking about right now. So I feel like when you have multiple purposes, it's still aligned underneath the same umbrella. Does that make sense to you, Amari? Or do I need to break it down a little bit more? That's right, Chocolate. Is there anyone else that has any other questions as well? My throat is really starting to hurt. I need to drink this tea. Is it still too hot? Yes. Okay. So what I mean is that when you say multiple purposes, do you mean that you are doing multiple things, as in the sense of totally different jobs? So like I'm a coach and I'm a nurse and I'm a truck driver. Is that what you mean, like that, in multiple different things in that way? Because like I was saying, when you have multiple purposes, you're doing multiple things underneath one umbrella. My purpose is to serve, is to inspire, is to be a coach and be a guide. But through that, I have speaking engagements. Through that, I became an author and wrote books. Through that, I have t-shirt line. But it all is aligned underneath me inspiring, helping women gain confidence. So do you get that? Like, ask the question a little bit, be more specific if there's something else that I'm not answering you. Yes, I do a lot of unrelated things that I'm good at that I also want to perfect. Okay, so here's the thing. So are they what you have to decide is this my purpose, or are these just hobbies? Because there's some things that you do that they're just hobbies, because your purpose is very specific. I specifically work with women. I specifically am a coach for women. I specifically have a t-shirt line mostly for women. I do some stuff for men too, but mostly for women. Like, I'm very specific. If you're doing a whole lot of stuff, one of those things is your purpose, and those other things are just hobbies that you're doing. So you need to decide what is it that you're doing, because you can't perfect them all. You can get great at them, but you can't perfect them all. So find that one thing that you're like, I really want to do this, and I would do this if I didn't get paid for it. And then from there, you perfect that. And then the other hobbies you can still do. I'm not saying don't do them. They're just not going to be as important as your purpose. And then Jenny, what'd you say? You was like, I'm being transparent. I'm still struggling to let go of a 15-year friend hookup. Good. I'm getting my words mixed up. 15-year hookup. I know outs things, let it go, not going anywhere, but keep going back. It's time. I always get that way. Getting in relationships mess up. Okay, Jenny. So you keep getting into relationships that you're stuck on this man of 15 years. I'm sorry, guys. I have to drink some tea. My throat is hurting. So yes, what Chris said. So like I was in a relationship for 10 years and it's hard. And so what I talked about earlier today is that it's very difficult because we are used to it. It's what I'm used to. This is comfortable for me. I know it's not good for me. I know it's not serving me. I know it's not making me feel good, but because I'm used to this, I'm going to keep on doing it. What you have to do is be okay with the hurt that you're going to go through, because you're going to hurt. When you walk away and you block that person, because you're going to have to block them and you're going to have to stop talking to him. It's going to hurt and it's going to be very, very hard. But then you have to think about the outcome that you're going to get. So instead of focusing on, well, I'm going to miss the fact that we had talks that night. I'm going to miss the fact that it is good sex. I'm going to miss the fact that we did have good times. Don't look at those good times. Look at everything that it didn't do for you. That's what I had to do in my relationship that was not good for me. I had to stop focusing on the few things that I liked about it, and what are all the bad things that I don't like about it that's going to keep me away from it. So when I start thinking about, should I call him? No, because he's abusive. No, because he's a narcissist. No, because he disrespects me. He talks to me in certain ways. So focus on the things that you are not getting out of that hookup. I'm not getting a real relationship. I'm not getting a man that really pours into me properly. I'm not getting a man that supports me. I'm not getting a true partner. Yeah, I got a warm body, and yeah, we got time served, but that's all we got at this point is time served. Yes, like Chris said, book your free session with me so we can talk about this. And you're gonna cry, but you have to go through the hurt. Either way, it's going to hurt. It hurts the fact that I'm in a relationship with someone who's toxic, who I know is not good for me. And it also hurts the fact that I have to walk away from this. But let me tell you this, the hurt is going to stop when you walk away from that, because with time, that pain will end. But if you stay in that relationship, you're going to keep going through that same pain year after year after year, 20 years of pain, when you can end it now and maybe go through 6 months, a year of pain, and it be done. It didn't take me that long to be done. But I'm saying, it may take you that long, but but it's hard. It is very hard. Think about the negatives more than the positives, because the negatives is what makes us want to keep going back. I mean, the positives is what makes us want to go back. Sorry. The positives makes us want to go back. So think about those negatives and think about how your life will be so much better when you're not tangled up in that relationship that you know is not serving you in the proper way. And then book a free consultation with me. Yes. Ooh. All right, guys. Is there anything else? Anybody else have any other questions? Any other comments before I hop off? I went from one speaking engagement, speaking at the table of greatness, straight into this. My throat was like, Amber, I need you to calm down a little bit because you're doing too much. Anything else, guys? Otherwise, I'm about to hop off, drink some tea, and rest these vocal cords of mine. Oh. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening and for tuning in with me. I appreciate all of you guys. Go back and watch some of the things that we talked about previously. Go watch some of the stuff that I said, because I need you guys to get this. Like, it is so important, because I don't know if you guys heard Beyonce, but how she says, like, I wish everybody feel like this. I want you to feel the way I feel, how happy and at peace I am. So I appreciate all of you guys. Go back and watch the replay. Book a consultation with me so we can get through this. Like I said, go to my website, www.ambernicolespeaks.com. Book that consultation. Let's talk, sis. Let's figure this out. Let's help you navigate so that you can be the woman that you never thought you could possibly be. Will I be back in the Quad Cities in person soon? After the snow, girl. Listen. I do not. When the snow has cleared and it's a little bit more warmer, I'm gonna be there. I'll be there. But why it's cold outside? No, ma'am. So springtime, May, April, somewhere around there, I'll be back. All right, guys. You enjoy the rest of your night. Mwah, peace and prosperity to all of you guys. I will see you guys next Friday for Let's Talk Fridays conference. And I don't know what subject I'm gonna talk about yet. I'll let you guys know. Be watching out. You guys enjoy your night. Goodbye.